Hey everyone, it's Anne again. It's been quite a few of these of the last few weeks, and it's been fun. This is the last one before we, close the doors for Wool Month 2025, and also before we close the doors for signing up to the Northern Light and the Fjord tomorrow at midnight Pacific. For those of you in Europe, that means 9 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, just so you know. So you can think about it, but if you oversleep, then the train has left the platform. Do you say that in English? Yes, the train is leaving. You say that. We say that in Norwegian as well. The train has left the platform. So what's going to happen today is basically that we are going to, because you have met people that are in the Nook, which is now slowly becoming the mountain journey. For those of you who are joining us or just have joined us, you will see that there's a bit of discrepancy here and there. We are talking about the Nook here and the journey, the mountain journey there, and a bit like that. But eventually, give us a couple of months and we will hopefully get to the point where everything has converted into the mountain journey. And you've also met people that have done the level 1 and the level 2, and those are both parts of what we call the Fjord journey. Those courses can be bought as standalone courses as well, just so you know, just a little reminder. But if you want a full experience and join, the whole year with us, you get the full mountain and you get all the courses and a few other things as well if you join us in the Fjord. And quite a few of you have already done that, but there are more room, no more seats in there. And then today I want you to bring up to the stage with me a few people that are in what used to be the Great Experience. And the Great Experience has become the Northern Lights journey. And same goes there. There's a bit, we are a bit paranoid at the moment. There's a bit of schizophrenia going on, a bit of Great Experience and a bit of Northern Lights, but we'll get there eventually. But I just saw that Carol managed to call in as well. So I have 4 wonderful knitters with you. First of all, I have Steph. And Steph is there with me now on stage, and she's going to be, she's got to be running the show, kind of. And I am going to be here with supportive questions. I did tell them before we started that I'm going to try to say as little as possible. But for those of you who know me, you know that is virtually impossible to, for me to say little when it comes to this. I'm so invested and so passionate about all this. Hey, Steph, you good today?
Hey, I'm good.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Haven't seen you for a week. Feels strange.
I've been on a little vacation. It's been nice.
Yeah, well, I bet it has. Cool. So tell everyone, if there's anyone new in here, I don't know, there might be. There are a few members in the chat that I know about, but quick little recap, Steph, who are you?
Who am I? I'm a knitter. I learned to knit when I was 5, which is more than 50 years ago. And I do Viking Age textiles and knitting. That's my deal. That's me in a nutshell, really quick.
Yeah. And she works with me. And I'm Anne. I'm a Norwegian. Yeah. You're in Minnesota. I'm in Norway. And
like my screen says Team Anne. I'm part of part of Anne's team.
Yes, you are. And I am now good to see you guys. Lots of well-known names. We are doing this before I put everyone up. We are doing this because we are closing tomorrow at midnight, and we are literally closing tomorrow at midnight. So this is to give you guys a little insight to what it's like to be in the Northern Lights, great experience, to give you the possibility to book that last minute call with me, because no one is let into the Great Experience Northern Lights without having a call with me. I've talked about that before, and there's a reason. We're not going to get into that now, but you have to. So I'm going to give you the link to sign up. We have a lot of bookings and slots available tomorrow, but depending on where you are in the world. But Our first call, we are meeting for a welcome call on Thursday. We close on Wednesday midnight and we meet Thursday afternoon, US time, Thursday evening, European time, to get you going so that you can pick colors and yarns and stuff. For those of you who decide to join the fjord, we meet on Monday with the same quest going in there to find, the details about it all. Right now, I'm going to bring everyone. If you have questions, use the chat. I'll be keeping an eye on that, and we will answer your questions as we move along. And I'm going to say hi to Jeanette. She has this strange name down here, but that's not her. Her name is Jeanette. And we're going to say hi to Jan. Jeanette is in Canada. Jan is in the US, in California. And we're going to say hi to Sally. Sally is, you're in the US, right? Thumbs up or not? Yeah, in Washington State, right? Yes, there we go. I'm getting good at this. And then we have the Canadian Carol. That is, I need to mute this because there's music in the background. And then there's Carol. She's Canadian, but she lives in the US. And now she's on her way to Canada. She's in an airport, but she's, kindly enough, she's shoved up with her knitting. So with that, Steph.
So Carol is in an airport. So just so she doesn't have to run. Are you going to have to run during this hour, Carol? Should I go with you first?
If you could, yeah. They told me to be at the gate at about 10 till 2.
Yeah, let's talk to you first then. Sweet.
I'll see if I can knit and talk at the same time.
Oh, you can. I know you can.
And follow the shawl.
I've seen you do it. I've seen you do it. So what made you join Anne's Norwegian Knitting? I've heard that some in-laws maybe that have some Scandinavian background.
My stepdaughter married a Swede. They met while they were in Hong Kong, but we went to visit them. And actually, when I found out, I'd seen Anne's post on Facebook once in a while, and we were vacationing in Colorado when she was doing her Eternity shawl. And I kept seeing it, and I kept saying, I want it. I've got to have it, but I was never pushing the button. And it was one of those, it's like I kept seeing it, and it's like the more I saw it, the more I wanted it. So I ended up buying it on my phone, which I rarely do buy anything from my phone. Mm-hmm. And then I looked at it, and it's like, okay, I'm in trouble now. I'd done some stranded knitting way back, and I don't know that I was particularly good at it. I hate weaving in ends, so that's probably part of it. And I never really worked with
shawl is no weaving in ends, so you picked the right one.
And with wool, you don't really have to worry about stuff coming apart unless you're knitting with super wash.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Which it will fall apart eventually.
Yeah.
Well, you weave them in.
Are you Norwegian? Do you have a Norwegian background?
Not even close, even though the announcers in Canada, when they talk about Swedes, they think Switzerland. My mother is Swiss.
Oh.
Which is why I knit continental. My father is Italian, and the Italians think my mother is a witch because she can knit so fast.
I know we've had conversations with you when we've had some of the community get-togethers, and you've talked about like Thanksgiving and the foods that you serve, your family serves, and none of it sounded Norwegian. So I knew I had guessed you were not.
So no Nordic blood at all. I think the Swiss tend to stay where they are, and the Italians also. I've never done the ancestry thingy, but I'm pretty sure it's pure blood Swiss and pure blood Italian. My daughter, that's another thing. My husband's is American, so he's a bit of a mutt, or a whole lot of a mutt.
So your daughter's she married to a
No,
Scandinavian?
my stepdaughter, my husband's daughter from his first marriage.
Oh, so
So
does
they
this
have
give
3
you kind of a
kids.
connection to her?
I mean, I like to travel. My husband will go visit his kids
Uh-huh.
and his grandkids. So the last time we went, I hooked in by Norway, passed by Drammen, waved, and missed Anne. But other than that, I mean, I called in after a few calls, I guess, with the Eternity Shawl. Is like Anne started the Great Experience, or the Northern Lights as it's now called, and it was like, yeah, that sounds like fun, and I've not regretted it since. I
So
mean,
what makes
it's
it
really
worth it to
Anne.
you?
I
It's
beg your pardon?
Anne. I said, what makes it worth it for you? What makes it worth it
Uh,
to be in the Northern Lights?
Anne, and it's a nice group of people.
Yeah.
There was at one point I was taking some kickboxing lessons, and there was a lady there that was saying, "This is my people," and it's kind of how I feel about Anne's Norwegian knitting.
Yeah.
Did I say
Yeah.
that in the right order?
You did. Yep.
Okay.
You did. Yeah.
But,
Cool. And Carol, just to know you a little better, what do you do for a living?
I'm an engineer. I work for General Electric. We make jet engines. Uh, I work for the company that works jet engines. Initially, I started out working for Bombardier. They make airplanes. That's how I met my husband. He worked for GE. So I transitioned from airplanes to engines. And the group I work for writes the software that controls the engines.
Oh man, that's a cool
So
job. So you
this is
need
different.
knitting. You need a little soft.
Yes,
I understand
I
that.
like doing stuff. I'm not an artist, I'm an artisan, but I like working with my hands and doing stuff.
Yeah. Is that your first shawl? Since I know you've been in with Anne's world for quite a while.
Yeah, I started the shawl, then I took it to Mexico. Note to everybody, you can get into Mexico with your knitting needles. They will not let you back on the airplane with your knitting needles. I have not
Ooh.
tried wooden needles or bamboo needles. I'll try that at the end of the month, see if they take those away. But I had my shawl on the needles and they made me pull it out. So the
Oh.
shawl was in timeout for a while. It's a good thing it's really sticky yarn. So I
Mhm.
didn't lose a single stitch,
Mhm.
but I was peeved. It wasn't the shawl's fault, but
I know I've heard about your Christmas tree skirt. So you've done some other projects that I know of.
I did. I've got the 2 of the level 2 sweaters. The what's it called? The
Winter Garden. Or
yes,
the number 2.
that was the first one I did.
Mhm.
Except it didn't look like Winter Garden. It was brown with yellows and greens and cream. And the other one is the festival one in green
Oh.
and what else did I have? Mouflon and a few other colors. The tree skirt and the stocking. I have yarn to do a bunch of other stuff,
Oh, yes.
but
When you're in
That's-
Anne's world, you do have a
Mm.
bunch of yarn to do other stuff because it's all so pretty.
And it's also the reason why she's not leaving is because she intends to do it. But she keeps around. You've been there
yeah.
since the first time I offered the Great Experience. So you're a proper OG, the old gang.
Yeah.
Old gang. Okay. It's like, okay. I do fit the old ish.
No. When we
Ish.
when we use the word old, we don't mean old in age. We mean how long have we been around? So
Or how we act.
yeah. So anyway,
And
But
Carol,
yeah.
how many languages do you speak?
Fluent 3. I'm learning Spanish.
Wow. And
I
none of those
tried
are
starting.
Norwegian, I'm guessing.
I started a few lessons in Duolingo.
Oh. Very good.
Maybe I need a few more before we go up to Norway next year, so Anne
Yeah.
can laugh at us.
Yes, she's recommended that I should probably learn Norwegian as well. So
Wow.
you and I, Carol, we need to do it.
So
And
cool.
we'll practice on her, and she'll go, "Huh?
Yeah, exactly. She does that to me all the time.
Do you
What
think
are
English?
you trying to say?"
Cool. So we're coming then. That's okay. Make a note of that, Steph. That was.
I
you know,
am.
Carol is committed.
I've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just take this extra suitcase with me and bring it back.
And for those watching or listening from at home, we're going to be doing a live retreat next summer, June of 26. So Carol's just committed, not signed up. She's committed.
Well, GE decided that we had, well, it's not called unlimited vacation, but it's permissive time off. So we can take as much time off as our boss feels like we're allowed to have.
Wow, that's a cool idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I would rather have my vacation, but
Yeah, I kind of get that, depending on the boss, though. If the boss is generous, then it's cool. But if
yeah, I've been lucky so far. I've had good bosses.
Yeah, brilliant. Good.
Good. All right. Let's ask Sally some questions. Sally, tell us a little bit about you. What have you, we already said that you live in Washington State. And what did you do for a job? Are you retired now?
Hello, everybody. Yep, I live in Washington State. I moved out here 2 years ago from the Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. area to be near my kids and my grandkids. So I was a nurse way back in the day. But for the last 30 years, I worked for our county's Park and Rec department, and I managed like YMCA type facilities and water parks.
Oh, cool.
So I was very busy during the summer. I didn't have time off during the summer with all the outdoor water parks, but now I am retired. So
Yay. Good for you.
so when I moved here, I knitted years and years ago. Like back 2010, I started doing some knitting, and then it got put to the side with other things happening and life and whatever. And then once I moved out here, I decided I wanted to start knitting again. And I've always been a thrower, like an English knitter. And I had seen Anne and her information, and what really kind of caught me was working with the continental style of knitting. And she seemed so, that's her thing and that's what she teaches, and you can do other things, but that's what she teaches. So I just thought for longevity and efficiency, etc., I wanted to learn continental. So that's kind of what really got me hooked to begin with. And
When was that, Sally?
About 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
This is my third year in the Great Experience. I started out with level 1, which is part of the Fjord now, but I started out with level 1, and it was just a great foundation. Between Anne's live get-togethers and instruction, and there's probably 100 videos in the tutorials, and just wonderful. And then I've also wanted to really learn the color work, and I love color work as well. It's my favorite kind of knitting. So
recently you completed your level 3 cardigan sweater, which is a huge accomplishment.
I did.
Can we put a picture of that in the show notes, maybe?
Sure.
Because that's an accomplishment. We should be putting that in the show notes.
Yeah.
Anne's giving me the okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I actually wore it. We went to a magician at a theater. So we had a nice dinner and we went out, and I wore that because it's cold here already So I wore that, with a little, and it was just perfect, perfect. So
Yeah, it's got a
it
nice
was
drape to
great.
it too, so it's fun to
Yeah.
wear. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It was quite a challenge. Took me about a year and a half, 2 years, because I've always got like 3 or 4 projects, kind of going
Mhm.
on at the time. But it was great. It was such a learning experience, and it's one of the things I wanted to say about Anne is that, you know there's a lot of patterns out there, and there's a lot of videos, YouTubes for patterns, and there's a lot of tutorials, um, which Anne has all of that, but she also challenges us.
Mhm.
She makes us work and she makes us think, and that has made me a much better knitter. Um, Being able to noodle through a few things and noodle through how I want to finish something off or how I want to move forward. The fit, I'm a sweater knitter. That's my big, I love sweaters. So learning how to work with something and make it so it fits is really important and very exciting. So yeah, yeah.
So, would you say that's what's changed in your knitting since you started? Is maybe the way you perceive things, she's changed your perspective maybe on how to make things fit?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And learning, the ins and outs of that, and when in a pattern to take a step back and look
Mm.
at what you can manipulate in the pattern or what changes you can make to move forward to
Mm.
make it fit you better, and
Mhm.
when to do that is really important. The other thing that I know and the other thing that I've really learned is just my technique and my tension and perfecting that continental
Mhm.
style of knitting as well, and then being able to manage 2 strands. Every once in a while we've got a 3 strand thrown in there. So
Yeah.
Anne, what were you going to say?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that two things about that you and I want to comment on that you said, Sally. One is the stepping back thing about getting that perspective, leaving it, putting it down for a short while and ponder about it and then go back to it and then find the solution. And that is so important on your knitting journey, because sometimes you actually need to think a bit about it. And that's what you said about that challenge thing, and you are such a good example of that, because in the beginning you really didn't do it, but now you are more like, I can see it when I challenge you. I see it that you're thinking, and you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna think about this, and then you come back and you think, ask a couple of questions, or you have found a solution, and that's such a wonderful, it's so cool to see, because you all have, I see it in all of you that you develop, right? I see you changed. I have changed since the first day a lot. So and you guys have it as well. And it's like, as you said, you just started your 3rd year, which is, and I see that you come such a long way since you first started on your first colorwork. And the best example of them all is with the level 2 cardigan that you did, because you did the level 2 sweater first, and then you did level 2 cardigan this spring.
Mm-hmm.
How you solve that button band thing is, 10 out of 10. I love it. I simply do love it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
absolutely love how you sorted that out. And another thing that you also said, that you spent 1.5 years doing the finishing the level 3.
Mm.
But you said that you had a whole lot of things in between, because you have knit so much in between in that 1.5 year period. So yes, you might have taken it to 1.5 years since you cast on until you finished it, but in between there you have, it's not like you've been sitting there watching that project, waiting for it to grow without you touching it. You have been knitting your way through those 1.5 years. So
Yeah.
just wanted
Yeah.
everyone to know that, because you are really, you caught the bug, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm on my second Eternity shawl. I finished the
Mm.
first, I'm on my second. I am in the middle of the Christmas tree skirt. Not sure what Christmas it'll
Mhm.
get ready by, but I've got that. And then the Hempsedal sweater, couple level 2s. Yeah, level 3. We've got some exciting things that Anne has promised us for later this fall, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been great. The other thing that I want to say, and I know poor Anne, she's probably got all these little questions, but the community of people is just awesome. You know, we get together on a regular basis, we get to know one another, and to be able to meet people from the Netherlands and Ireland and Canada and England and, you know, all over the United States is just so cool, and really feel like you know them. And we do have an opportunity for a weekly kind of, you know, get together that sometimes Anne join, Anne and Steph, I'm sorry, join, but sometimes they don't, and it's just the group, and you know, so it's really great. And for me, that camaraderie is a beautiful thing and a big thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
really
very
happy you said
important.
that. Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
happy you said that, because when I sat down to do this 2.5, 3 years, 4 years ago, no, 3 years ago, um, one of my biggest intention was to create a community that was actually worth staying in, and we managed together, all of us, to do that. And I think yes, there's a lot in there, and you learn a lot, and there's techniques and there's patterns, but primarily, people come in because they want to learn to knit, or they want a special pattern, or they want to join a special course, but people stay because of the community.
Yeah.
Obviously, they want more of my patterns, but they stay because
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
what's really cool is that, because I have primarily directed all my efforts towards getting people from the US and Canada on board. Lots of reasons, not going to go into that now, but what is cool is that this intake here, we have another Dutch, we have a German, we have a French person, we have a British person coming in. So there are more Europeans coming in as well. So we're going to be a more multinational community. I wish I could say that we've had people in the Great Experience that comes from the countries down under, the Australia and New Zealand, or Asia or Middle East or something like that, or yeah, but we don't, and that is a time zone thing, but also
Yeah.
a culture thing to a big extent. But there are more Europeans coming in, so that's really cool. But I'm really happy to hear that about the community, Sally. I really
Yep.
am. You.
Yeah. Yep.
So, Sally, I think you've kind of answered this, but I'll ask you a question that I asked Carol.
Okay.
Tell us why it's worth it to be in the Northern Lights for you.
Well, I would say all of the above. It fills so many squares for me. I'm in an area, I live in an area now where there is a lot of yarn arts and weaving and spinning, and there's a lot of yarn shops, but this has been very fulfilling for me to be part of a group like this and have the support for the techniques, but also support for the color choices and other things. One of the things we talked about the other day, so I did that level 2 and I made it into a cardigan, and so now I have enough of the contrast colors to do like a little shell to go underneath. And so we were all troubleshooting it together in one of the little Zooms that we did on different patterns and what would work, and looking at the summer tea and would that be an option and things like that. So it was really helped. It was really great to have that feedback and interest, I think. you know,
Mm.
everybody's so interested and willing to help. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
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 it is a great community. Yeah.
yeah.
So, Sally, some of the things that you and I have talked about in the past is following a pattern, following, and then you get to a point in Anne's knitting, she leads you and gives you answers, but you get to pick directions you go. And sometimes that gets a little, if you're used to following, sometimes it gets a little out of our box. And both you and I have commented that you just sometimes have to stop, think, but you have the answers available to you. It's just
Mm-hmm.
putting it all together and giving yourself that little challenge, which
Mm-hmm.
is really fun. And you and I are both self-declared not the best at picking our own colors. And that's one of the ways Anne has challenged both you and I. And I think it's come out really well. There's a special thing that she does about once a year about picking colors. And I think you and I have been in that together several times.
Yeah,
And we
and
get there.
yeah, I was gonna say we get there and you improve. I don't give up easily on things, so you know, you keep working towards it and you know, it is exciting and you learn and get better. So, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I and one thing Anne does tell us though at the beginning is read the pattern line by line and then read it again and just trust the process, do what it says, which is very important, I think. But then as we move along, she does kind of, you know, give you that challenge. And that, you know, that's a great sense of accomplishment for any of us when we feel like, okay, well, yeah, it wasn't all spelled out for me exactly what I needed to do, but I worked through it and I have, you know, something to show for it at the end. And that is, you know, that's got to feel good for anyone.
Yeah, like a perfect fit garment
Yeah,
that you're not going to get in a cookie cutter pattern. You have to,
yeah,
you
yeah,
get the skills to figure it out.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Great. Anything you wanted to add to that, Anne?
No, I just want to say that my patterns are extremely detailed compared to what Norwegian patterns traditionally are like. Just
Very.
saying.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I'm just I'm just saying, just like not because you're not saying it that you're not thinking that, Sally. I'm just telling everyone listening. Jeanette has done 2 million mittens over the last year, and the mitten patterns, my mitten patterns and the old mitten patterns are, you know, the old mitten patterns could fit into this one, including the charge, right? My mitten patterns needs a few spaces. No, but that's a decision I made. And as Steph said to me, because Steph said in the very beginning when she got to know me, she said, and here you're being Norwegian. And yeah, but I am Norwegian. Yeah, but by that I mean I don't know how I do that. So you have to explain it to me. Okay, I'm doing it.
In Norway, they assume you know things because you guys learn knitting in kindergarten. So you assume people know, and not everybody knows.
Yeah.
But even this summer when I went to see Anne Mor Sundbø, for those of you who don't know her, she's a knitting and historian, oracle, encyclopedia kind of person. She has the amount of knowledge that she's got is absolutely tremendous. And I went to see her, and even she said, because at one point we were talking about patterns, and she said, for those of you who don't know that, I have knit 5 patterns in my life. The rest has come from this brain of mine. I followed 5 patterns, and those 5 patterns, I think there's 1 or 2 that where I didn't do any changes, but apart from that, it's like. So we started talking about following patterns, and she said, because she's not a knitting designer per se, but she knows how to put together a knitwork, you know, with a garment without following a pattern. And she said, I hate following patterns. And I just looked at her and I said, okay, you and I, we're soulmates. And then she said, and those old patterns, have you seen them? And I looked at her and I said, yes. There's like 2 sentences and then go and knit it. And she said, yes. Who's supposed to know how to do that? You need to know it up front. And I said, yes, that's right. And then I told her about my experience with you guys, that, Norwegian patterns is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go knit. And then I realized awfully soon that, I need to add at least 10 steps here. So it's 1 to 15. Now we can try it.
Oh,
So well, she was laughing, but she said, it's just the way it is. It's so true. It's the way it is. But Norwegian patterns, having said that, are changing, but the old ones were like that. So the newer ones are changing so that they're becoming more like mine. They don't put their numbers in there like I do, though, but that's,
So there's a comment. And so for people at home rewatching, they don't get to see the comment. But there's a comment I'm going to read. And she says, yes, one of the things that I like is that Anne gives permission for us to go outside of the box. You will notice with all of us working from the same pattern, every project is as unique as we are. That's a great statement.
Yeah,
Renaissance.
That's Myra. I think.
Oh, Myra.
And it's true. For the people in Great Experience, we give a lot of slack in that, and we do accommodate for a lot of accommodations. When we do the level 2 on a just level 2 level, we are a bit stricter on it, because on the second time you do it, then you're allowed to start experimenting. In the first section, we really encourage everyone to follow the process, and that goes also for the Northern Lighters, in a sense. Having said that, there is, I believe firmly in diversity, and also the fact that we are individuals, and I don't want to be pushed into a box. There is no way anyone can push me into a box. So I'm not going to try to force any of you into a box. You treat others like you want them to treat yourself, right? So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay. Jeanette.
thank you.
Thank you, Sally. As we just said, you've knit a basket of mittens. And
I did.
by basket of mittens, tell us how many pairs of mittens you have knit.
Oh, I think I'm now about 50 pairs or so.
50. Only 50.
Yeah, only 50.
And
just the beginning.
and you've done multiple Eternity shawls. How many?
6.
6.
Yeah.
So needless to say, let's say that you like Anne's patterns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I love knitting.
Do you learn something new each time?
Yeah, little tips and tricks. And why I joined Anne was that I wanted to knit a Norwegian sweater with a round yoke. I never done that, and I thought I needed some help. And then I found Anne, I think, on Facebook. And first, before I made the appointment, I thought, oh, she probably needs an elite group of knitters who are really good. So I just doubted, shall I ask for a one-on-one? But I did. So I'm happy I did. And the talk was really funny. I think for half an hour, we just almost laughed. And Anne said in the end, oh, I still have to talk about the Norwegian experience. And she told me that, and it was a 12-month commitment, and the costs were this and this. And she said, and I asked her, do you think I could knit a round yoke sweater? I said, sure you can. I said, okay, I joined. And that's why I joined. And I never regretted it, but I learned so much.
What are you wearing right now?
Nidaros Spire sweater, also from Anne.
Anne's. Yeah, so you definitely, how many yoke sweaters have you done?
7.
Yeah, I guess you learned how to do it.
Yeah, I learned how to do it, and I love it. Oh, I come out of bed, I get my knitting, and that's it. I do nothing for the rest of the day. Just knit. I'm privileged. I can do whatever I want with my time, so I like to knit now. Used to be
And-
reading, and now I knit.
You have a beautiful accent, and
Dutch.
it's not Canadian, Dutch.
No, it's Dutch. Yeah, I'm very proud of that too.
So tell us a little bit about knitting in before you joined Anne's Norwegian Knitting.
Oh, I think I learned to knit when I was about 7 or 8. I think 7. But I knit a lot between I was 15 and 24. Also sweaters. That was in the time that everybody had those leather pants and those really great knitted sweaters in all kinds of colors. And oh, I just love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I I met this man, Berend Lochtenberg, who was a dairy farmer. I'm a farmer's daughter too. And yes, we joined, and we did so much work, and we had 4 kids in no time. So I was no time for knitting anymore. So, and I think I knitted only 5 years ago. I started knitting again. It all started with my friend Sonia and her sister. They joined a crochet along, and she asked if I wanted to join too. So I did, and we crocheted a really beautiful blanket. And I thought, oh, I wish I could knit again. So I got knitting needles on Marketplace. I got some yarn left over, and I was looking for a little project. And I found Arne and Carlos's quarantine blanket. So they were nice little squares. So, but in no time, I had 144 squares.
Oh.
So sewed them together. Even that was fun, and even sewing in the ends was fun. I just was hooked again, and I started knitting in the round hats and cowls. And then I thought, oh, I want to knit sweaters again, and a Norwegian sweater with a round yoke. And then I found Anne. The rest is history.
So
Yeah.
how long have you been with Anne? Is that
I'm gonna join for the 4th year.
4th?
Yeah.
So since the beginning.
Yeah.
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 Jeanette is another OG.
Yeah.
They don't. I keep saying, and I keep saying that, you know, when I pull you in slowly, I throw out my net, and then I catch you in my net, my fishing net, and I pull you in slowly, and then I'm not letting you out again.
No. I remember after the first year, you did some kind of a survey and asked what you missed in that year, or what could be better or improved. And I could think about anything, just that she would move in next door here.
Yeah.
And still think that way.
Could you exactly? You said that. Could you move next door so that I can come over and knit and ask?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
So
Janet is one of those. Just so you know, guys, I always say that there in every intake, whatever it is, there is a Speedy Gonzalez knitters, and in every intake there is a snail pace knitter, and in between there are 2 million different degrees of knitting speed. Right? Doesn't matter what knitting speed you're on, because you're not supposed to compare yourself to anyone but yourself. Right? You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Jeanette is a double Speedy Gonzalez knitter, because, as she said, she's got all the time in the world and she can decide what she wants to do with that time, and she's deciding to knit. So she knits a lot. But still, she's a quick knitter. So for those of you, you know, if you ever join us, don't ever compare yourself to the speed of Jeanette, because that's going to be fatal. You know, breed. It takes the time it takes. But I must say, I'm impressed. And we have had this standing joke going about being on the mitten train because of those mittens. They took off. Because the story behind those mittens is that the first year I was in business in English, I offered what is called the Mitten Bonanza, which was a once a month new mitten kind of thing. And Jeanette got that one, but she never started. And she told me several times that no, I never knits mittens, and I don't know how to do it. So I don't think I'm going to do it. And I kept saying, hey, so when's the mitten coming? When's the mitten coming? And when's the mitten coming? And then all of a sudden, when was it? Was it in January a year and a half ago?
Yeah, and the Knit Bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's January a year and a half ago, because that was a mitten in the first Knit Bliss collection.
Yeah.
Then you decided, okay, it's time. And then she didn't stop.
Yeah, that was because of Shona and Julie sent pictures that they started the mitten. So I thought it would be a lot of fun if I could knit mittens too. So I just started, and I think the worst what can happen is you just rip it again if you don't make it.
Mhm.
So and it worked.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I just couldn't stop knitting them. They're like
No.
little works of art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you knit some of them are not mine, I must say, and they, you know, especially as I don't like it, they are beautiful. But no, I'm kidding. Do that on my knit. You can knit whatever you want, really.
Yeah,
Just-
I know.
But and now because now she has we've just been through the same again, but this time with socks.
Yeah.
She's never done socks. Did she do the sock for wool month? Yes, she did. Has she started on the second pair? Yes, she has.
Yeah, I'm wearing my first pair. Yeah.
Yeah, and I left a comment on Facebook at some point during wool month now, and I said, okay, so are you ready to go on the sock train or something like that? And
Mhm.
then you said, what did you say?
Sock train left the station.
As long as you run the conductor, and now it's like, and now the sock train has left the station. That's so cool. So we're waiting for your 50 socks, but I'm still waiting because I have this picture of some of my mittens on a picket fence, and I'm waiting for Jeanette's 50 mittens on a picket fence. She just needs to.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the fence too. Yeah.
So we need to do some collective pressure, put some collective pressure on someone up in Canada.
Mhm.
Yeah, up there, because we need a picket fence for Jeanette Smith. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Next year.
Next year. So, Jeanette, the reason you make so many socks is you were explaining to me the community that you grew up in.
Yeah, there were always knitters around me. My mother is a really good knitter. She still knits. She's in her 80s. And I think she started also when she was about 5. My grandmother and all the neighboring women. Yeah, I was born in on a farming community in a little town in Holland where everybody helped each other. Just with difficult calving or haying or getting the straw from the polders or whatever, but we also celebrated birthdays together and rang in the new year. And all those get-togethers, those women brought their knitting and always socks. My mother has always had a white and gray, Norwegian sock yarn, but black and grayish blue. And always knitting socks. Yeah.
Was it a Norwegian sock yarn?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it called Per Gynt?
Stavanger.
Per Gynt?
No. I think the brand was probably made in Holland. Norwegian sock yarn made in Holland.
Well, okay.
I think or from Scheepjes or from Stavanger. I think it was Stavanger. Yeah.
So now you can do the socks with all the ladies.
Yeah, and my mom wanted to teach me how to knit socks, but now I know. He does it with 4 needles or 5 needles, but I do it now with 2. That works perfect. Cool. Yeah, but I think socks is trickier than mittens.
Yeah, because you have the heel.
Yeah, and my eyes are not great. To pick up those stitches, that's hard.
Yeah, I don't think it's trickier, actually. I think just there's different steps.
Yeah, you have to do it a couple times before.
Yeah.
You do it without thinking.
Next summer when you have knit 50 pairs of socks, then it's like...
Okay. It's easy. Yeah, true.
So, Jeanette, what makes being part of the Northern Lights worth it for you?
Oh, everything. It's just the best knitting group. I never joined another one, but I don't want to.
Good.
Everybody, we have such nice people. You're friendly and good sense of humor. What I always like. It's fun. It's just fun to be here. Always when you enter the Zoom, you enter the club, you just like.
Yep.
Here we go again. Yeah, I always like it. Yeah, and I will.
It's amazing how fast an hour goes.
Oh yeah, Yeah. And you really care for people, for the group. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I never want to leave. No. No.
All right, Jeanette. Anne, do you have any questions for Jeanette?
So I've said enough. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Jeanette.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was
That
fun.
goes for you as well, Sally.
And I want to say hi to Sonia because she's watching.
Okay.
She's my friend. My friend for 44 years already. So, and she's gonna watch.
Oh, and she's watching. Oh,
Hi,
fun.
Sonia. Yeah.
All right, Jan. Last but not least, but best for last. I don't know, maybe all the fun prologues. So tell us about you, Jan.
I have been knitting for 65 years. I learned when I was 8. I live in a remote part of Central California, so I'm 2.5 hours away from any yarn shop, and that's the only yarn shop in the area. So that's a long way to go to get help and support.
Mhm.
I'm retired. I was a psychiatric nurse practitioner, which is basically a nurse that's a psychiatrist. And I focused on working with children.
Oh, wow. So how has being part of this community helped your knitting since you've been knitting for 65 years? What have you learned?
I thought I knew what I was doing before I met Anne. You know, I was delusional. And I think because of my background, I can make that statement accurately. I came to Anne because I wanted to make a Norwegian style sweater for my 4-year-old granddaughter. She's 6 now, by the way. I've made a sweater for her, but that one wasn't ever going to happen. And I learned the hard way that they don't tell you what you're supposed to do in the pattern. Yeah. And so I may never go back to that. But being in Anne's world has been just the best thing in the entire world for me. It really has, on so many levels. And I don't know what to say besides that, because it has absolutely made a huge difference in my life. And my knitting has gone exponentially better.
Is part of that because you live so remotely and we have the community? Because you sit in on a lot of the meetups.
Yeah, it is. I mean, our closest neighbor has 30,000 acres, which, and I don't know how to translate an acre into any other measure. That's a lot of ground. And the closest grocery store is 45 minutes away. So I'm in the middle of nowhere. So, you know, I think that neighbor that's 30,000 acres away, you know, I know her, but she doesn't knit. She doesn't do anything like that. So yeah, this is a big part of my social network, is to be able to get together with you all and feel like I have a group of friends. If I have a question or concern and I can't figure out the answer by going to the tutorials on the website, I can sit in on a meeting, and if there's time, ask the question. So
yeah, whether it's the project we're talking about or not. Yeah, at the end we usually
right. Yeah. I know whatever problem I'm having, whatever I need to get figured out, I am going to have the help and support there, that I don't have to drive 2.5 hours to get someplace where maybe they have time to talk to me. Maybe they know what I'm talking about. Maybe they don't. You know, it's huge. It's huge.
Somebody just put into the chat, Michelle just put in chat, 46.87 square miles is 30,000 acres.
Yep. Sounds about right.
50 miles away is your nearest neighbor.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I love living up here. If you were interested in looking at stars, we have no ambient background light at all. We get to look at stars like crazy. But it's remote. And It's just the way that it is.
So, Jan, do you have a favorite project you've done then of Anne's?
I'd have to say that the Eternity Shawl, while it may not have been the favorite thing that I've done, is probably where I learned the very most. And I learned things that I did not expect. I learned why it was important to go from throwing, which I was absolutely convinced I would never, ever, ever give up, to picking or continental style. And in the last month, I've figured out Norwegian purling. So now I can knit and purl. Now it took, I think, 5 times of going through Anne's video tutorial, watching her do that, to the point where I got comfortable with doing it. But the Eternity Shawl was a game changer. That's really the very best thing that I can say. As far as my favorite project, it's probably this one. And the reason this is my favorite project currently is because it took a children's sweater pattern that Anne had that was not a cardigan. Because of the level 2 skills that I gained, I could turn it into a cardigan. And I figured it out, and I did it. And when I made mistakes or I wasn't happy with something, I took it out and I did it over again rather than settling for it. I mean, what I'm going to say next sounds really strange, but I am thrilled with the underarm area because it's so good. I mean, this is going to go on a 6-year-old. She's not going to care, but I'm thrilled because it turned out exactly the way that I wanted it to. Now, it doesn't have the color changes in here. I just used a yarn that had color changes within it. But, again, it's for a 5, 6-year-old. It's fine. I changed things like I put I-cord on the sleeves. To be able to do that without a pattern telling me what to do, to be able to think it through, to me is like I've reached a master's level. There is a wonderful book in the nursing culture called Novice to Expert, and it takes you through the process of going from being a novice to what it means to be an expert. And I'm not probably at the expert level yet as far as knitting goes, but I'm getting there, and that's all because of Anne.
That's awesome. So her videos, I just want to say real quick, her videos are not 15 minutes long. They're 6, 8, 10. So it's easy to find. Like you said, you had to look 5 times at one video. It's easy to find where you need to be in there, which I like those short videos like that.
I do too, because I can take it and back it up and look at it and back it up and look at it again and back it up and look at it again whenever I want. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm awake. My yarn shop is not open, even if I am willing to drive up there. But Anne's there on her videos, so I can look and see and figure out what it is that I'm doing. It's the best. Period. Sally?
And you were going to say something, then I see Sally after that.
Oh, well, I was just going to say really quick with the videos too, is the vast majority of the main videos Anne has introduced, and that's one thing that being with the group for 3 years, there's been so many every time you turn around, every month there's an improvement here, an improvement there, an addition. I mean, Anne and now with all of the team, you guys are just like new things, new processes. It's really wonderful. But there's a timestamps on the videos so if you're looking for a particular technique or a particular whatever, it's real easy to look down through that list and find where you can hone in on, what you're looking for. That's all I wanted to say.
Yep, good point.
Yeah, thank you, Sally. I just and that's so true. And that those timestamps have been a major improvement. That has been really, a game changer, even for me, because it also what you do is that you go into the portal and you can search for a word like Pearl, for example, and then if we were talking about Pearl in one of the calls, then that will come up on the list. This call from May 2024 there's Pearl in the timestamps. So maybe you want to have a check that out. So that's brilliant. In addition to the tutorials, dedicated tutorials, obviously. But what I would like to say to Jan is what you commented on. Being able to create your own garments based on what you learned. It's kind of what you're saying is, it warms my heart, to be quite honest, because it's in the same line. It's just a follow-up to what Sally said about being challenged to find the solutions on your own, because that is one of my things. You know me, those of you who have been around for a while, you know that I have a brain that is sometimes working on overload and, a bit too much. But I like to think and I like to figure out things. And I like to be the one that tries to enable you to figure those things out. But you need the basic knowledge before you can figure it out. When you know, as I keep saying. If you don't know, you don't know. But as soon as you know, you can't unknow it. Well, you can forget it for a while, but sort of. And then when you start working on, like you did with that kid sweater, when you start working on that, and it's like you have all this knowledge that is in that bank of yours here, and you bring it out. But you had to get it into that bank before you can bring it out, right? So that's one of the things when I do these courses and you follow them, is like what I always, because there's always someone who's a bit impatient and want to jump stuff. And that's totally, it's human to do that. So that's cool. But what I always keep saying and come back to again and again and again, there is a process behind this. There's a reason why we do it in a certain order, I want to take you step by step, and for every step that we put out and give you, it's supposed to be an add-on to that knowledge bank, that knitting knowledge bank of yours. And then when you get to a stage where you think, as Jan said, feels that she feels, she masters this. She knows how to do it because she has all that knowledge in the bank. That is awesome. And that's actually what I want to hear. So I'm pretty grateful, to be quite honest, for you guys saying that. And I know that all of you think that because, we have a 70% renewal rate, and people wouldn't renew if they didn't feel like that. But I'm really grateful for you being able to putting it into words. Jan, thank you.
So one last question for you, Jan, and it's the same one I've asked everybody. What makes it worth it for you to join the Northern Lights?
Well, I think all the things that I've said already. It allows me to be focused in what I'm doing. I'm not worrying about going out and finding other yarns to go with a pattern that I saw that I liked. Anne has everything that I want. And so between that and having access to the yarns that she uses for her patterns, which is a big plus. I mean, the support that we have from the U.S. yarn shop that carries the yarns that Anne uses is tremendous. Why would I go anywhere else? Why would I look for anything else? It's all here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I want is here. This is California. We don't wear sweaters, not much, but I can't not have them as a part of my life.
Yeah. And we're glad you do. Yeah. All right. That's all the questions I have for today. You want to follow anything up, Anne, about signing up?
Yeah, I do. Thank you so much, everyone, both for being here and for you guys that are here. We do close tomorrow. I'm going to put in the chat right now, if there are anyone that's on that fence, there's always a few people on that fence. If you want to, after listening to this, want to be a part of it, I know for sure that you're not going to regret it, because I have 3 testimonials in here right now, and we had another one, and I have another 45 people that can give you a testimonial for that. Some of them are new though, because we have signed up quite a few new ones for this round. We have, as of now, we have 1 seat open. I have a few calls. I have a couple of calls tonight. I have a couple of calls tomorrow. But if there are more than that one that wants to join, I'm not going to stop you. So, I mean, book that call if you want to. You have 1 more day. The link is in the chat. But you have tomorrow, and that's it. We are closing, and when we closed, we closed. Then you have to wait until next time and see how many seats are open, because we are going to be full by the end of this intake, which is giving me the chills, because that's pretty amazing. When I started this 2.5 years ago, I didn't really believe in it at all. I didn't think that anyone would pay that kind of money to be in a knitting community. I was encouraged to do it anyway, and people said that you're worth it, and people are going to love it. And if they don't, then don't, offer it again. People did love it, and we are offering it again. But I always said that, the limit is 50. If we go over 50, we have to rethink some stuff. But at the moment, the limit is 50. But if there are more people, I am saying that up to 2, 3, 4 extra. If you decide, we are going to make accommodations for that. So that's going to be cool. We would love to have you. End of story. We love our community. I love my community. I really, really do. It's, I've been live a lot now in August. I didn't have any calls in July, because I tried to stay a bit more off grid in July, and I miss you guys. So next week, we're starting on Thursday, and then it's full on in a couple of weeks until Christmas. I hope to see some of you. I see a lot of people in the chat that are already with us. So thank you so much for joining, everyone. And for those of you who are not with us already and been listening in, and if you have listened to this on the podcast, we might be closed by now, but there is a link in the show notes to the wait list, so you can always sign up for that if you are too late for this time. But for now, if I'm available tomorrow for those of you who want to have a meetup with me. Thank you again, everyone. I'm looking forward to the next 12 months. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for being here, guys.